Hey, it's Amanda Green from Amanda Green, and I should give you a heads up straight away. I'm feeling like today's sort of an all-time low day for a couple of reasons, and I just wanted to obviously have a chat and vent and get those concerns off my chest, so I feel a little bit better. So, lots of things obviously are going on at the moment. We are expecting our fourth child in a couple of weeks, and there's a whole bunch of financial stuff that's come up surrounding that pregnancy that we didn't expect. So just to sort of fill you in and backtrack a little bit about our financial situation and our budget, because this is going to be like a money talk, because that's where I'm at an all-time low with today, my headspace and money and finances. So, and I thought today would be a really good day to talk about it, because hubby's at work, kids are at school, and just sort of allows me to be able to talk without worrying about freaking him out, because yes, he does obviously know the extent of our financial position and where we're at, but if I go expressing my concerns in front of him, that sort of just like freaks him out even more, and he's got enough stress with work and everything, and he doesn't need to take on my concerns and worries about our financial position. So, in saying that, well, digression, just a little bit of a background. So, my husband used to work for a company in Australia called Queensland Rail, which was obviously purchased by Horizon. So, it's a national railway thing. National railway thing, and he was on really good money, but he wasn't happy, and we decided collectively that he should obviously find a direction that would make him happy, because I think that's really important. It's your job, it's something that you've got to do every day. You need to be happy and fulfilled in your position in doing that. So I have been on paid, or well, unpaid, I should say, maternity leave for quite some time. So I went back to work between Kaylin and Aaliyah for 6 months. But other than that, for the last 5-6 years, I've pretty much been on unpaid maternity leave with Education Queensland, because I'm not sure if I've said, or for those of you that don't know, I'm actually a high school teacher. So, so I'm on unpaid leave. I'm not actually due to go back to work until September 2019. So I've still got 4 more years of family leave that I'm entitled to and taking. And I'm taking for a number of reasons, just because, I want to make the sacrifices and stay at home with my children when they're little. And I also we're living in a completely different state at the moment from where I'm actually employed, and yeah, you can't just be a teacher in Australia. You've got to register with different boards in different states and blah 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 blah, and everybody's different. So it's a real drama. But obviously, the position that I'm in, being 4 weeks away from giving birth to our fourth child, I couldn't go back to work even if I wanted to, even if it was an option for me right now. So yeah, that's about my work history, a little bit about my husband's work history. So yeah, so he was working for Queensland Rail. So 2 years ago, we decided collectively that he should pursue a career path that would make him happy and that would give him some joy, where he would feel valued, a part of a team, and all that sort of malarkey. So he changed his job, and when he changed his job, we just sold our home, and we sold that at a loss because the market was terrible, but we knew that we couldn't afford a $500 a week mortgage repayment with a possible career change. So with a view to the career change, we decided to sell our home and become renters. So when we sold our home, unfortunately we sold it at a little bit of a loss. So it was about a $10,000 loss. So pretty much ever since then, we sort of have just sort of been adding to that loss in terms of debt, because when we sold the house, and obviously he went away for training to be able to do his new position, he pretty much had 2 years on a training wage, which was all but half the salary that he was making at Queensland Rail. Now, his job does come with some perks. Our rent is really reasonable, probably, I suppose, half of what you would pay. So yes, his salary was halved, but our rent was cheaper, and so was, well, his health and dental and stuff was all free and included. But the new company that we could take out our health with was a lot cheaper as well. So there was a couple of perks there that went along with that pay deduction. So in saying that, when he went away to do his training, we expected him to be gone for 12 months to do the training until he could obviously receive the proper fortnightly income to support our family. And within that 12 months, sort of, I expected, obviously, our credit cards to sort of to clock up a bit of debt, and I was thinking, just in my head, I was thinking naively, okay, that's cool, like I still want the kids to be able to go to swimming lessons, I still want, our routine to be as it was when he was on a really good wage with Queensland Rail. And so I expected, and we talked about it, that we would probably, our credit cards would probably be maxed out by the time he finished all of his training and he was back to regular wage. But that was okay, and it was all part of our grand plan, because we were just going to get a consolidation loan and a really low, like 5% interest rate type of number, and just smash the credit cards once he got the regular wage, and get out of debt really, really quickly. So the training didn't go according to plan. An element of the course that he was doing was running late, so we had to swap courses, and there was a whole bunch of situations that happened that were completely out of his control and our control. But it made the 12-month training period, which we prepared for and had a little bit of savings and expected credit cards to be maxed out at the end of, turned into a 2-year period. So, and we've just sort of come out of that in February. So I fell pregnant with our fourth child within that 2-year training period. So that was another thing that we weren't expecting, because we were done at 3. And whilst it was a lovely surprise and a little blessing, it certainly wasn't part of the grand plan to get out of debt and start saving some money. So where am I at? So yeah, his training took 2 years as opposed to the 1 year. So unfortunately, not only did one credit card get maxed out, a second one did as well. So we've sort of found ourselves now in a position where we are, I think, credit cards are like $25,000 in total worth of credit card debt, which is really scary. And we haven't defaulted any payments, but at this moment in time we're just making minimum payments until the baby comes, and hopefully we can smash it down a little bit more. and then obviously we've got that credit card debt, and then the surprise of the baby. But also the surprise factor with the baby is that when we came up here, we're not allowed to give birth in the local public hospital, because it would be a fourth C-section for me, and there's scar tissue and stuff like that. It was just too much of a risk, and it certainly was out of the criteria of being able to give birth in the local hospital here. So to add another, piece of the pie, we have now got to pay to obviously have the baby in Darwin, in the private hospital. Now we do have private health cover, but for those of you that do have private health cover, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the only thing that it's good for is your actual hospital stay. Like instead of paying $7,000 a night to go into hospital and to have surgery, you pay like $500 for a week. So yes, it is a lot less because we've got private health cover, but there's certain expenses that are not covered by private health, that are not covered by Medicare, and our gap payment now that we've got to give birth in Darwin is substantially larger than what it would have been if we could deliver locally. So, for example, the obstetrician that we have to have now, we have to pay a $3,000 management fee for him to manage me. And some of that I can get back on Medicare, but, it's still got to be outlaid before I can apply to get any of it back. I also have to pay a $1,700 gap, which I'm not going to get any of that back. I'm not going to get any of that back on Medicare or private health. So the $1,700 come tax time could be a deduction for my husband, because I'm one of his dependents. But again, it has to be outlaid first. We also have to pay an assistant surgeon fee, which is $300. An anaesthetist fee, which is another $500, a pediatrician, $700. So it's all these unexpected baby expenses are adding up, and adding to the credit card. And so it's making for a very stressful time. Now, we are on a really tight budget. We are on a really tight budget to be able to pay these bills. But as you know, things come along, like a $2,000 electricity bill has also been thrown into the mix now. And, like there's a whole bunch of unexpected things that, so it's sort of a very stressful financial time and moment in our lives. And I have no doubt that once the baby arrives, we can, start putting a little bit away, because we can't apply for a consolidation loan so our debts are in one small, easily manageable chunk until we can put some regular savings into the account and establish like a history. So like a savings history. So that can't happen because at the moment all of our extra money is going towards those unexpected, like $200 a week is going towards those unexpected doctor's fees that are all sort of adding up. So we had, when we got to here in February, we had an emergency fund ready to go, because we were planning on doing the Dave Ramsey, financial snowball thereafter, and really making some headway on our debt. But unfortunately, the emergency fund had to get used on the first $1,700 gap payment that came up from nowhere because I had to pay it. I had no other option. I couldn't put it on the credit card. They're maxed out. Like I had to scringe and scrounge and those sorts of things. So yeah, so it's a very stressful time, and today for some reason I'm feeling particularly low about it. My head is just not in a good spot. We have um, obviously been trying to sell a few additional items around the home that we are no longer needing, double ups, stuff that my husband's been making from the pallets, like I think I've shown you a couple of videos of the pallets and the kids helping him make a few things out the back. But, we've sold a couple of things and have made some change, but literally it's just sort of enough money to put fuel in the car and to get a couple of groceries, not to contribute towards that debt at all. And I know it's just the beginning, and like I can't expect to be making lots of money and selling lots of things straight away, but we've got to start somewhere. So yeah, it's very stressful time financially at the moment, and we really were wanting to use our time here, because we're so sort of isolated, is to smash that debt over and to get some money in the bank. And we still will do that. It just seems a little bit further off than what we wanted. So yeah, I think that explains us obviously our financial position pretty well. So but aside that is the only debt that we have, is that credit card debt. And so we're certainly a lot better off than quite a few people. But and one of those credit cards, I should say, is on a 0% interest until September, but the other is not. And yeah, so very stressful, very stressful. Trying not to think too much about it. My husband has put his motorbike up for sale, so if we can get that sold, that would be really good. That would be a couple of $1,000 that we could either use for the baby fund, or use a portion of it for the baby fund and then put our emergency fund back where it should be, and yeah, really try to get started on getting rid of the debt and living that debt-free life that we so desire. So yeah, like I said before, our budget's really tight at the moment, and obviously the biggest thing that you have control over when it comes to budget is obviously how much money you spend on groceries and food each week. So unfortunately, that's sort of what's had to, excuse me, what's had to be cut the most is obviously our food budget. So yeah, so it is what it is, and no point complaining about it. But I just wanted to let you know where we were at, and try to talk it through and get a little well, hopefully give myself a little bit of a positive sort of outlook towards the whole financial position that we're in at the moment. So yeah, thank you so much for listening to my finances / expenses woes. Hopefully nobody is in that yucky position of being in debt. I don't want to wish that on anybody, but if you are, please feel free to comment, and if you've got any suggestions on things that you've sold, things that you've made, things that you've done to get a little bit more money here or in, again, feel free to comment and give some suggestions regarding your experiences with debt and finances and stuff like that. Okay, thank you again for watching, and I really appreciate your ears and you're listening to my woes again. Bye.